All right, I'm gonna do my impeller. I got the housing kit, which was $42 at West Marine. You're gonna want a couple quarts of 90 weight oil for this Gen 2 Alpha One Gen 2. It's a 2001 4.6. This part number is 18321-4D. It comes with a couple O-rings for the water tube, an O-ring for the oil reservoir part that comes through, impeller, and a couple of gaskets. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drain the oil, which I didn't put any oil in the fall, so it should be pretty easy. Okay, I'm gonna take the lower plug out first to drain the oil. Lower plug out first. The reason why I do the lower plug is because since the top plug's out, it won't run out that fast. There shouldn't be much in here. And again, there's not much oil in there. What you can do is also pinch the line that comes from the reservoir inside your boat. That way, all the oil from reservoir won't drain into your low end. I don't care right now. Make sure you check your magnet and your grommet. Make sure you have your grommet on this, both O-rings. The grommet is on the lower end still, which is fine with me. I'm gonna leave it on there. I'm gonna clean off the magnet here. Again, I did this in the fall. I drained it, so it shouldn't be much problem. I'm gonna pull this one and drain that, then put the screw back in lightly. So I'm gonna take this plug out also. That way it'll drain freely. And I'm checking for that grommet. The blue grommet is in there. Sometimes it can be rubber. Since it's not draining because I had no oil in there, I'm gonna put this black lightly so I don't lose it, but I'm gonna be taking it out when I put oil back in it. I'm gonna put these to the side. So I'm gonna take off the 4 side bolts, 1, 2, and there's 2 on the other side. I'm not gonna show you that. It's obvious, it's the same thing. 1 bolt in here that takes off the ionized cap, and there's 1 bolt in the back along with the pitted tube. I'll do this first, and I'm gonna leave like this one on so it doesn't, the lower end doesn't fall. So I'm taking this off. And again, this is for that cap. There's a bolt underneath there too. I'm not gonna take this bolt out though, so this thing just comes off. There we go, put that to the side. There's gonna be a bolt down here now. Oh yeah, I also wanna put the drive in forward. That way when I spin the prop, the splines, I can lock them up. Okay, use an extension with a 1/2 inch socket right here. I'm gonna go to a 9/16 for the bottom one here. And these are 5/8. This road is so loud. The trucks, you know what I mean? Oh. I got this bolt out with the 9/16. It's got like a little star washer on it to kind of lock it up. I'll put this to the side. Now I'm gonna do the 4 5/8 bolts, but I'm gonna leave this one on right here because that way it's gonna hold the lower end together, even though there's one more on the rear I still gotta do. So I'm gonna do that. I'm not gonna show you all this because it's pretty obvious. I got my 5/8. I'm not taking this off. I'm just loosening it up. I gotta go back and take the speed tube off, and there's another bolt in the back. Okay, good. Okay, I got these 4 bolts that came in on the side, 5/8, and it's half. That was way in the back. It goes in the back right here. It kind of locks in. This is your water tube. Can you see? Open up my kit. Now that I dropped the load, and it basically wanted to fall out. You got to be real careful. That's why I got cardboard down. So this is your water tube. There's little O-rings in here. You want to pop these O-rings out and put new ones in. There's a little groove inside. It fits in pretty self-explanatory for that. On both sides, you can take this water pit tube off. This is what helps. So you got a good seal so the water can go into the engine. Very important. That's the whole reason why we're doing this, is so the engine stays cool from water. Okay, you can kind of use your finger in there too. Kind of move it around, work it in there. Okay, I got that in there. I'm gonna lock this back in here. This one's got a little groove. Okay, so I'm gonna put that on there. And then what I also would do is I'm gonna stick this inside first. So, and it kind of hooks on right here. And then this is your shifter, so it's going forward. And this is your water tube. There's a gray button that goes on here, and that other 1/2 inch bolt goes in here. So now I'm gonna use my 9/16, and I'm gonna take off the impeller part. There's 4 bolts on here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll come back to you. Right now that I got those 9/16 little bolts off, I'm gonna pry this up. You gotta be careful of this rubber grommet here. You're gonna I oiled the shaft to kind of squeeze that off. Comes right off. I'm gonna set that right there. And now when you take this off, you wanna make sure you know what way your impeller's going. So I'm gonna have my camera person keep an eye on that. There we go. So they're bending. Is that clockwise or the other way? So it looks like it'd be spinning counterclockwise.
Clockwise.
It's counterclockwise. So it looks like it's going this way.
Okay.
All right. Ooh, it's got a, well, there's gasket in here. I thought it was a blown gasket. So we got to make sure you know which way your gaskets are going too. Oh, wow. Okay. So I'm going to clean this all up. Make sure there's no gasket in here. That way you can get a good seal. I'm going to put this gasket that was on there back on there. That way I don't lose it and I know exactly which way it goes. So it goes right on like that. And I can tell the red side is into the impeller because that's the way it came off. There was a little red ring around it. I'll take this plate off now. Pry this up. Here's the key. In my kit, I got a new key. It goes on the shaft right here. When you put it back on, you want to put a little grease so it sticks. See what happens here. Okay, so which way are these gaskets going to go? I'm going to go... Wow, they're so caked, like almost damaged. Okay, now I'm going to pull this impeller out. I put this gasket on here. I'm going to take it off so I don't wreck it. I'm going to grease this whole part here. That way the impeller can go in there. Look how the fins are kind of stuck like this. So I'm gonna put some oil on here. I can use grease, oil, whatever. Oh shoot. Oh no, Andrew, I need you to help. And what you wanna look for, make sure you don't have any grooves in here. If you get into shallow water and suck up some sand, it'll make grooves. It won't make a proper connection. So I'm greasing this up. That way I can spin it in here. Maybe put some grease in the fins a little bit. So I remember I wanted to go counterclockwise. So I'm gonna put my red gasket down first. Then I'm gonna put my plate. The rounded side is gonna go towards the impeller. There we go. And I got the gasket that's gonna line up here. And make sure your key is lined up. I put grease on there. Oh no, where'd my key go? Oh, come on. Oh, it's on there. I put grease on the key so it sticks on there. Your impeller's got a little groove where the key goes. And slide that on. I can look right down here actually and see where it goes. To a certain point you can look. Okay, I got that on there. Let's put this down. Make sure my gaskets, all the holes are lining up. This is like a universal kit, so it's gonna have some extra holes. They're not universal, but so once you get all your holes kind of lined up, be careful. Start them off slow. You don't want to wreck anything. And don't tighten one down all the way. You got to kind of get them all slowly on there. That one started. I'd probably go to the other side. All right, now that I got them all started, I'm gonna kind of wiggle the impeller housing around and kind of the things so they kind of fit on there a little better. Just kind of, there we go. There we go. Push it down. Give one corner a little tighten, not all the way. Go to the other side, a little tighten, not all the way. And just keep tightening down every other side until we get a tight product here. Can't hold my wrench, it's so greasy. That was the hardest part. So there's a little tiny O-ring right here. This is so your oil can go from your lower to your upper end. I've got a new one in my kit, so I'm gonna put that in there. There. Okay, you gotta remember to put this rubber grommet on right here. I forgot to put that on. I had to take everything back off. There's a sleeve. It kind of goes on the bottom and the top. So I got that all lined up. Everything's tightened down. I got my water tube on here. It's gonna slide into another water tube. 2 rubber rings are replaced on there. I have my oil ring replaced right here. The drive is facing towards me, which is reverse right now, which means it's forward. I'm gonna try to slide this back on. And sometimes this can be a pain in the what you can do, so I'm gonna put some grease on here. Put some grease on your spline. There we go. Put that on there. It doesn't even hurt to put some grease on here, on your other O-ring, so it slides on there good. All right, I'm gonna try to line this up. I'm gonna have one bolt ready. So I'm gonna put this in here. So when I get that on, I can put that on, and so it holds it up. Let's see what I can do here. So sometimes you need to spin the prop. That's why I left it in drive. Kind of fit it in there. Look at that. This is when I tell you to spin this slowly. Okay. And then it'll go in.
Okay.
It should. There's nothing to grab onto, that's the problem. Oh, wrong, bad angle. Okay, spin it slowly. That way, I think.
The other way?
Yeah. Harder, harder.
It doesn't go the other way.
I know, hard.
It doesn't go.
Push the prop. There. There, get a bolt in.
It's not sticking out.
Got it?
Yep.
Okay, good. Okay.
Not like.
I know. Okay. Okay, one of the main reasons I like it in drive, well, it comes off first of all, and then you can spin the prop forward, and it can spin the spline so they line up correctly. I just put a bolt in here with a separate hand, just so it locks up. Now I'm gonna put my 4 bolts in. Nothing's gonna be tight yet. I'm just gonna line everything up. Okay, go ahead. Okay, I slowly went around and tighten everything. I got my 1/2-inch bolt in the back. I put my pitted tube back on for the speedo. I put the bolt that goes in here in. Tighten that. Tighten the ionized piece back on. And I'm gonna put the lower end in the oil after I run it once. I'm gonna see if it pumps water to make sure everything's all right. So after I run it and it pumps water, oil's going in it. All right, we got some water flowing really good there. I call that a success. Back it down to neutral. Thanks everyone for watching. This repair was a complete success. It's actually more of a maintenance thing. You want to see that water flowing out like a hose right there. That's keeping your engine cool. I have a lot of oil change videos, lower end oil change videos. Check them out. Thank you very much. Bye.